Stanley Johnson, your reaction to Lord Frost and those other Boris loyalists?
Well, I think I'd like to be called a Boris loyalist myself. I'm not sure. I like this, labelling of Frost as the leading Boris loyalist. I've been a Boris loyalist since June the 19th, 1964, I can tell you. And I intend to stay that way, even if he ceases to be Prime Minister. Frost did a good job, no doubt about it, but I think that what we need to see now is the Parliamentary Party pulling back from the brink and realising they push this one as far as they can and to recognise the value of what they have.
And Amanda Patel, do you have anything you want to ask Stanley?
I'm not allowed to look at him. Stanley, can I look at you kind of sideways? First, I'd like to ask the viewers, apart from David Davis, could you name a single one of those Boris bashers? I mean, the number of people who are resigning, even I, who've been in politics all my life, I wouldn't know them if I bumped into them in Tesco's. And it just seems like, as we've discussed, a feeding frenzy. Yeah, I'm kind of curious, Stanley. What is it about Boris? Most PMs at this stage would probably have caved. What is it about him?
I'll tell you what it is, Amanda. I think it is professional jealousy. A lot of these people in the media started off as journalists.
You're not allowed to look at me. You have to look straight ahead.
Started off as journalists. Boris started off as a journalist, and he went on to lower things, higher things, whatever he said. And I honestly suspect that some of it is just, old-fashioned envy, and let's bring him down when we can. It's a bit of it that. And I think the other thing is really, you actually have to recognise that the guy is probably in a different league from a lot of the competition. So
Adam Brooks?
There's the left-wing stuff.
I'd like to ask Stanley, have you spoken to Boris today?
Well, I don't go into when or where I speak to any of my children, so I'm not going to answer that. I'm not going to answer that question. But no doubt he is watching this programme now, and so he'll probably know what I'm thinking.
And does he have the mental strength to see this through?
You bet. That is one thing he is absolutely. I remember when he played the Eton Wall game. The Eton Wall game, is a pretty tough game, and there's a motto. The motto is, give as good as you get. Give more than you get. In fact, as I recall, the motto of the people who played the Eton Wall game was an eye for a tooth. And that's one.
So will we see some more sackings, do you think?
I think we will see battle launched. If the party wants a fight, there'll be a fight, and that's what we'll see. But he's not going to walk away from this one.
Nigel Nelson.
Yeah, Stanley, I've been in the House of Commons all day, and it's been, obviously, Tory MPs are scenting blood in the water, as I'm sure you've noticed. If your son does go as Prime Minister, what do you think he'd do next?
He can do a lot of things, and I've no doubt that, a couple of people like the Daily Telegraph might say, I say, Boris, you've been a star correspondent for the last 50 years. Would you like a little column? I suspect that what he may very well do is go back to painting. He is a brilliant painter, absolutely brilliant. And I'd like to see, 10 years down the line, his mother, by the way, was a very fine painter, so 10 years down the line, I would like to see a retrospective at the Institute of Contemporary Art.
Stanley, you shouldn't be talking about what he's going to do after, when we're here talking about how we can help for him to stay in the job. I think he should only be thinking about doing paintballing, with all these people in the cabinet. That's
paintballing Michael Gove.
Him with a gun. Now, he's already gone. He's packing.
This is an incredibly serious moment, isn't it?
Well, democracy's at stake.
It's democracy. It is unbelievable that, a bunch of MPs, think that at this moment they can, as it were, unseat the Prime Minister for what need to me to be proven offences. And I don't think there's been any proof of any of this.
Nigel Nelson, why is that OK? Justify to Stanley why you think that's OK.
OK. The one thing that I've disagreed with a number of people tonight on is the idea this is not democratic. MPs are not delegates, they're representatives. They're elected to use their judgment. And that is what they've chosen to do. So as a result, this is a democratic process, however much people don't like it.
And how
Stanley?
much the British public voted Boris in?
Stanley?
Yeah, but I mean, the whole thing is that they didn't vote. We haven't got a presidential system in this country. What the British public voted for at the last election, well, by a majority anyway, was for the Conservative Party and for Conservative MPs. And it's Conservative MPs who are now using their judgment at the moment.
Well, I suppose technically speaking, you could be right about that. I mean, technically speaking, the leader of the party, and if the party then wins the majority, or if it wins a majority in coalition with another party, the leader becomes the prime minister. So technically, I suppose you're right that there is, as it were, a democratic element. That said, I think that at a time when Boris got, as I recall, it was something like, was it 385 85 MPs?
About 360.
What's that?
About 360.
360, and a majority of 80. I think there might be people out there in the country who would say, well, we would quite like to have had a say in who the next prime minister is.
OK, look, I'm just going to interrupt because we have some more breaking news. Another ministerial resignation. The Welsh Secretary, Simon Hart, has just posted his letter of resignation to the Prime Minister. I'll read it for you. He says, "Dear Prime Minister, I had desperately hoped that I could avoid writing this letter, but alas, there seems no other option left but to step down from my role as Secretary of State for Wales. You will be remembered as a Prime Minister with energy, vision, determination and humour. There was never a dull moment as a Minister in your government, and I will be forever grateful to have been given the chance to be part of it. I have never been a massive fan of ministerial resignations being the best means of forcing change. Colleagues have done their utmost in private and public to help you turn the ship around, but it is with sadness that I feel we have passed the point where this is possible." So Amanda Patel, not exactly one of the big beasts in the cabinet, but still a relatively significant figure. What do you make of this resignation from Simon Hart?
I felt quite betrayed, actually, because I traipsed down to Wales to do a fundraiser for him. Never again, Simon.
Stanley Johnson, your reaction to that resignation from the Welsh Secretary, Simon Hart?
Simon was a good countryside guy at a time when people were desperately trying to ban hunting. You know, Simon led the Countryside Alliance, as I recall. Looking back, I'm not 100% sure that that was an activity which got them the acclaim it got, or deserved the acclaim it got.
He's a nice guy, Simon.
Yeah, that's the point. I don't want to.
I'm just disappointed.
I don't want to slag off. Actually, truth to tell, I said earlier, this is not the moment for slagging anybody off. No. That's the trouble. All of those people, including the media, including these, they use these words. I said it before. I can't think of a time when I'd call someone a liar. I mean, that would be a most amazing thing. In the old days, you'd take people outside and shoot each other if they called you a liar. But people toss these words around.
No, Stanley Johnson, I've heard you loud and clear. So good to have you. I know we're going to have you back on the Superstar panel very soon. Stanley Johnson, do keep in touch.